One of the good high school stories last year was the impressive run of the Mandeville Skippers, who pulled a couple of upsets to get to the quarterfinals in 5A where their season ended, but it was a very good season as a new head coach emerged on the scene. Not a new guy by any stretch. He might still have eligibility remaining, Ed, the way he's kept himself in shape. I don't know. He could probably still run like a 4.6 or something like that.
I don't know.
Or did he ever run a 4.6?
I think one of those hammies might pop at this point.
You think so?
We're getting close to the the point of no return.
I think it's a quad, but that's my take on it.
Quad,
So,
okay.
Yeah, he's a pretty good receiver in his own day. Of course, we're talking about the head football coach of the Mandeville Skippers, Coach Hutch Gonzales. Hutch, I hope we built you up pretty well. I hope you're doing well.
I am doing well. I don't know if I could run a 4.6, but I would try.
And I'll bet you'd come close, too. Coach, I guess first and foremost, talk about how things are right now in this new strange reality we find ourselves in with the kids working with you in pods.
Yeah. I think everybody's been using the word unprecedented, and I think it's probably been used to death at this point, but that's what it is. Nobody really knew what was going on or how we were going to do it or when we were even going to be able to, and I think we had some sense of what it would be, but to do it the way that we've been doing it, like you said, bringing them in pods, and we're able to get the workouts in 25 kids at a time, and they say sometimes necessity is the mother of invention, and it's actually worked out really well. We kind of like what we're doing right now, the way we're doing it. We may stay with it.
There you go. What's the best thing about it, Coach, you think?
I just think that when you're forced to break it down into 25-man groups, you end up spending a lot more individual, like almost quality time with these kids. When you have, let's say, 50 kids in the weight room because you're trying to get them in and get them out of there, you're not getting quite the individual instruction. You're not getting quite the time to go up and have a conversation with every single kid every single day. I could almost ramble off the names of every kid in each 25-person pod right now because we spend so much time with each one individually, and there's less guys at a rack, and so our trainers from Osner are able to get in there and really dive deep into some of these technical lifts that before we may have just kind of not glazed over, but not spent quite the time that we would have during the summer teaching these things so that they become second nature.
Visiting with Hutch Gonzales of Mandeville High School, Ken Trahan, Ed Daniels with you. Hutch, we talked about in the last segment, Coach O talked about how important football is. We agree, and we alliterated why we felt like that was the case, and yet some people have been even critical of what he said. Talk about, from your perspective as a former player and a coach, why football is important to not only society but to the kids and to schools, for that matter.
Well, I kind of broke it down for somebody the other day in the sense that if you just think about it from a numbers standpoint, you got, let's say, 50% of Mandeville High Schools, or let's say a third of Mandeville High School's population is considered some sort of student athlete. So we got 2,000 kids in the school roughly. So you're talking about between 600 and 700 kids that are considered student athletes. And you have all their parents that are involved, and you got 3,500 people that show up, let's say, on any Friday night. Then you got band members who are there to play their instruments and entertain, and you got dance team members, and you got cheerleaders, and you got, as far as the school and the community goes, there's thousands of people involved in the operations of a sporting event like football every single week, and to just take that and not be able to have it, it's going to be if that was the case, it's going to be difficult for a lot of people to swallow.
Coach, are you in favor, or I don't want to say in favor, but if you had to go to the spring, how would you feel about that?
Look, I think you're going to get the same answer from every coach. We have boys on our team that need to play football, not just want, but need. We have coaches who eat, sleep, breathe this stuff. We have parents who feel the same way. I don't think anybody cares when we play. If we play in the spring, so be it. It would be a little bit difficult if we were going to play again the following fall to get kids ready to play another season that quickly. But I think that we've proved that we can be pretty resilient. And we're pretty resourceful, and if we need to get it done, we can get it done. So if our kids just get an opportunity to play, these seniors get an opportunity to play this senior year that they've worked so hard to get to, I don't care when we play, honestly.
As far as the continuity aspect of it, Coach, if you were a first-year coach, could you talk about how daunting that would be to deal with this when you got a whole new group and you don't really know them as a first-year coach, and how much of an edge do you think that gives you?
Yeah. Okay. So we've talked about this at length too with our staff. The fact that we are extremely veteran as a team. We have 18 senior starters. We have 15 returning starters. We're going to have a senior class of up over 30 kids. So to us, everything that we're doing right now is a review with our guys, and then we're kind of easing, on-ramping the young guys. If I was a guy who walked in, had no idea who was on my team, what they were capable of, and then, this is thrown on top of it, and you're trying to prepare kids that you don't really know what they can do, that would definitely make it a much more daunting task, yes.
Hutch, last season, as I alluded to, was pretty special. You had a team that performed well in the regular season in a good league, and then you get into the playoffs and you pull two upsets against two good football teams. Barb, a proven winning program. Alexandria had an elite team, and you shocked them. And then, of course, ran into a very good Houghton team and had to travel a long way to play there. But getting to the quarterfinals, of course, that was pretty special, really in the infantile stages of building a program.
Yeah, it was pretty special, especially coming off the year that we had the prior season, my first year in. And, it was a different group and a different mindset and a different mentality when we walked in. And I think that a lot of the success that we had last year can be attributed to the fact that we just had a bunch of kids who bought in, and they refused to do anything that was not going to, lead to the ultimate goal, which for us was, obviously you set your little goals through the year. We wanted to have a winning season. We wanted to win district championship. We wanted to win a playoff game. We wanted to have a home playoff game. And each one of those things that we were able to work towards and achieve was really exciting for them, because they, you hate to use coach speak, but they followed the process, and it worked out, and they really bought in. So it was exciting to see that for those kids who were hungry for some success, and it was really exciting to see for Mandeville football to kind of push itself, back onto the map.
District looks pretty good, doesn't it, Coach?
Always does. It always does. There's talent there. Slidell's always going to have a ton of talent, especially skill-wise. Ponchatoula's got, they got a stud that's going to be playing quarterback for them this year. There's always kids in this district that are gonna give you fits. It really comes down to who prepares the best and who can put the best all-around team out there. And that's what we work for. One or two studs can take you a long way, but you gotta build that team aspect. And I think that we've got a few teams in our district and a few coaches in our district who really understand that and do a great job of that.
Coach, talk about the situation now with regard to the split that occurs in the state. Are we fixed in this permanently, or do you think there's still hope to try to get people back together? There was some movement at the last convention, and the whole concept of 6-day, the whole concept of separating out sports seemed to gain some traction. And you have a great perspective on it because of where you played high school football, because of the fact that you coached at a private school in St. Thomas Aquinas, and now you're coaching at Mandeville, which I know Mr. Bundy has voted against the split previously. What's your take on it? Is there any chance of that ever happening again? And if so, how would you feel?
My take on it is, again, these kids just want to play ball. I think they want to compete against the best. They want to play against the best. And you want that. You want to be able to go out there and say, yeah, I didn't win the public school championship, or I didn't win the private school championship. So there are so many things about the split that I'm not in favor of. But I think that if you're going to ever get away from it, and I just don't know if we're entrenched. I think there's always hope, but I think we feel pretty entrenched because there are a lot of people out there who feel like, there are some inequities, I would say, as far as things go, and we don't have to get into specifics, but people feel like there are guys who gain an advantage by being a private school, and to me, it feels like if you get your players and you prepare them the best and you put them on the field, and you should be able to compete with anybody. A neighborhood school like Mandeville, we get who walks in the door, and it just is what it is, and we put that on the field. And there are guys who are going to contend that their neighborhood school is never going to be able to compete against a private school power who can attract talent from outside, let's say, their quote-unquote attendance zone, So I don't know. I think even though there was movement, we're probably still pretty far apart.
The shame. I look at it, and Ed and I are both against the split, always have been, and there are ways to fix it, and I've said it from day one. It's called financial aid and putting a cap on it. It's real simple. But it's not that difficult to process because some people violate it in severe fashion and others don't. But I see it that it's broken, and the way I see it as being broken is simple. You mentioned the private schools and how they can attract from everywhere, which is 100% accurate. Of course, if people are paying to go there and paying a significant amount of money, then not only do I not have an issue with it, but I applaud it. I think the biggest issue right now is the fact that you got three tiers. You've got Mandeville High, a traditional public school, which can only draw from its drawing area, but then you've got several public schools that are quote-unquote magnet or charter schools that are getting kids from everywhere. And, oh, by the way, it's free. And if you ask me, and I think if you ask Ed, we think those are the ones who have the greatest advantage, more so than the private schools.
Well, I mean, just, check the public school state championships over the past few years at most of these levels, and tell me where those magnet schools stand as far as that goes, and then you can draw your own conclusions from there. But I agree.
I think it's a three-tiered situation, though. That's the whole point, and I know Ed will expound too. You've got the privates drawing from everywhere, and as long as they pay tuition, or at least a preponderance of it, not only do I not have a problem with it, I'm sure you don't, because you experienced that at STA.
Correct.
Then you have the ones that are letting kids in for for massive reductions, and that's, to me, where the problem is. And then you have the traditional public schools, and what happened, and I said this over and over again, what happened with East Jefferson in 2013, I hate to say this, I don't know that we're ever going to see that again. That was amazing for a school that can only draw from basically a 3-mile radius, winning a state championship and beating powerhouse schools to do it. And then, of course, you have the magnets and charters that are getting kids in. So I think it is a three-tiered situation, and it's made it very difficult, I think, for everybody, but particularly for the traditional public school that can only draw from its area.
I agree, 100%.
Here's the reality, okay? Here's the reality. It now takes 2/3 to change the Constitution.
The odds of that happening are?
Yeah, none. I mean, look, maybe when it was 50-50, 50+1, okay, that you would have a chance to change it. But let's look at the reality of the situation. You're going to have to get 2/3 of the membership in a very fractured organization to agree to a change. That's why I felt in January of 2013 that it was out the gate, and that was the end of it. And it wasn't coming back. And of course it was expanded. But again, the reality is that this is still a very fractured organization, and you're going to talk about a 2/3 vote to make it happen.
I don't see that happening either. In full disclosure, Hutch, and I've said this several times before, my niece attended Mandeville High School. She had a 34 ACT scholarship to Fordham, and her parents do very, very well, but they chose to send her there because of the honors program, and they thought it was superior, and it served her incredibly well. And again, if you have a school that is excellent and performs well, I would say this to you. I'm all for open enrollment across the board, because the schools that achieve and that do very well, such as yours, I think they'd only flourish personally.
Correct. I agree. And there are a lot of people who would like to be, in that attendance zone. And it just, like I said, it's just not open enrollment. And there are things about Mandeville High School far beyond athletics that are going to draw people. And we do have great schools on our side, and we do keep kids at the public schools that would traditionally go to a private school for an educational purpose or things because we are so good. But there are kids who live on the other side of our parish who would love to be at our school who just don't have that option.
Yep, could totally agree. A couple more minutes with Hutch Gonzales. So let's talk about your team, what you have this year. We are assuming, we're hoping, and we're believing you're going to play. So tell us about your team and what you have coming back and how excited you are about the prospects.
Well, as I mentioned, we have a very large senior class. We've been excited about this class of kids since they were sophomores. My first year in, I walked into 27 sophomores. Last year, they turned into 28 juniors, and this year they have turned into 30 seniors. We've collected a couple of athletes, maybe from the baseball team, a couple guys from the basketball team who see the way that we do things and want to be involved. We have up over 30 seniors, which is always exciting because you have experience. We have, like I said, 15 legitimate starters coming back from a quarterfinal team, which is exciting. And almost on both sides of the ball, 7 on offense and 8 on defense. Now we lost a couple studs. Now we had a receiver go to Vanderbilt, and we had a couple of defensive players signed with Southeastern and things like that. So we lost some guys who could really play, but we feel like we're replacing them with some pretty solid players as well. So it'll be 18 as it goes right now. It'll be 18 seniors and 4 juniors. So a lot of experience, which has helped us through this, this time of uncertainty. And then, we're really excited about the young guys who are going to be role players behind them. We just feel like having a 3-year starter at quarterback coming back, and he's one of the better ones in the state. He's got some weapons to get the ball to offensively. Our defensive box is going to be big and strong and very experienced, and we are excited about the prospects of getting to have a football season this year because these kids have really worked hard for it, and they've earned it.
Coach, what do you tell the seniors about, hey, this being a great opportunity for them, or does that even have to be something that's even talked about? They understand that going in.
Well, I think you express that, and you try not to harp on the fact that we feel like this is a good shot. We have a good shot this year to be extremely competitive. But they know, we're very blessed in the sense that we have very intelligent kids, and they're all very football savvy, and they understand the way things work, and they know that anytime you have that much experience coming back, you have a good shot. You got a good shot, and so they say things like, "We got to play ball this year, Coach. This is our year. We got to get on the field this year. This is our," so they get it. I don't have to harp on it too much. They get it, But I think they'd be foolish to not believe that they were going to be, a pretty tough group this year.
Excellent coach, excellent program, excellent school. Mandeville High School, the Skippers, coming off of a good season with a very good nucleus coming back, and we sure hope to see them on the field soon. Hutch Gonzales, thank you so much for the time. Keep up the great work. Keep sawing wood. Something good is going to happen eventually.
Yes, sir. I appreciate y'all having me.
All right, Coach. Take care, buddy.
All right. Talk to y'all later.
You got it. Coach Hutch Gonzales of Mandeville.